In other words, I was a Republican even before Donald Trump started spray tanning.
Liz Cheney is a secret weapon for Kamala Harris. She's able to speak to a group of Republicans that Kamala Harris might not have been able to reach so much by herself, and Donald Trump might have been able to pick off. But she speaks to that group of Republicans that they don't like Trump, but they might also would have been hesitant to vote for a Democrat. Liz Cheney being extremely conservative, like listen to what former House of Representative Adam Kinzinger says.
Well, it's probably pretty surreal. It's very important because, again, if this is kind of the Republican base, a significant amount are sold on Trump and, they're going nowhere. But there's an amount of Republicans here that are embarrassed by him, but they still think there's some vestige of the old party left. And I just remind them, as I'd remind everybody, look, Liz Cheney, I'm conservative. Liz Cheney makes me look like a raving liberal. She's extremely conservative. Our viewpoints haven't changed. From when she was number 3 in line to, for the party. She was the number 3rd most powerful Republican when I was called a rising star in the party. So what changed? Well, the answer is really simple. We did not bow the knee and pledge allegiance to Donald Trump. So anybody that tries to pretend like somehow this party is the same party, and this is the group we're talking to, you can't say that. It's literally just, do you commit to Donald Trump or not? And after what we saw, particularly on the January 6th committee and what we saw with the filing yesterday with Jack Smith, this guy is absolutely unqualified to sit again in the Oval Office and have nuclear codes.
Like, even Liz Cheney makes him look like a liberal. But if Liz Cheney can swallow her policy differences with Kamala Harris and still vote for her because of democracy, that puts Kamala Harris's ticket in a very good spot, because this is a very tight election. We've all seen the recent polling. Kamala Harris is polling 49% to Donald Trump's 46%, but we all know that the popular vote is not what gives you the election, is the Electoral College, and her and Donald Trump are still pretty much tied in all the states that really matter, the Sun Belt and the Great Lakes states. So let's get even further into this video, but before we do that, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you enjoy this content, share with a friend if you don't mind. But let's get back to what's going on. So Liz Cheney might be that secret weapon. Why? Because it keeps bringing up January 6th, something that most Republicans will say, I don't like it, that day was terrible, but they might swallow their feelings about that and still vote for him.
Trump was willing to sacrifice our capital to allow law enforcement officers to be beaten and brutalized in his name, and to violate the law and the Constitution in order to seize power for himself. I don't care if you are a Democrat or a Republican or an independent. That is depravity, and we must never become numb to it. Any person...
Liz Cheney is going to be able to continue to bring this to the forefront and remind Republicans, hey, Donald Trump did not want to do a peaceful transfer of power. Donald Trump is a traitor to our democracy. Donald Trump has even turned me and my conservative father, Dick Cheney, who was literally the boogeyman, for Democrats. We're even voting for Kamala Harris because Donald Trump is just one step too far that we will never ever take. And I find this extremely powerful because, just like Joe Walsh says, there is a group of Republicans that might not say out loud who they're voting for, but when they go to the ballot box, they know who they're voting for.
Oh, you've been going to battleground states, talking to Republicans to make the case for the Harris-Walsh ticket. Do you think that Liz Cheney is the right or good messenger, or will her backing even make a difference?
Oh, Laura, it's a huge help. But again, some context here. It feels like 20 years ago, but about 2 months ago, we had an initial Republicans for Harris Zoom call. And that was only 2 months ago. And we had 80 to 90,000 Republicans on that call. And here we are 2 months later, some 500 to 600 former Republican members of Congress, national security people, people who worked in Trump's administration, all supporting Kamala Harris. I'm glad that Liz Cheney is on board. I'm looking in the camera directly at you, Mitt Romney. Get off your butt, Mitt Romney, and endorse Kamala Harris. But Laura, this is already in motion. I've been in every single battleground state. I'm in Georgia right now. I did an event with Jeff Duncan here in Atlanta, and we had an enthusiastic crowd of Republicans who support Kamala Harris. I don't think the pollsters are measuring this. I think there are a lot of Republicans I've heard in every battleground state I've been in who've come up to me and said, Joe, I'm going to support her. I can't say it publicly, but I'm going to support her. There's a groundswell out there, Laura.
And we've even been seeing this with TikToks with women who've been like, yeah, you know, I live in a very red area. My husband, he's going to vote for Trump. But guess what? Me and my group of friends, we've all been secretly been like, you know who we're voting for? Do you know who we're voting for? Yeah, they're all voting for Kamala Harris because they want common sense, pragmatic policies. But some people don't see it that way. We've been seeing on Fox News, they keep saying that, but the Democrats just keep wanting to bring up January 6th. We don't want to let January 6th die. But mind you, who keeps bringing up the 2020 election, which led up to January 6th? Let's see if you can guess it.
Last election, we did great in 2016. A lot of people don't know we did much better in 2020. We won. We did win. It was a rigged election. You have to tell Kamala Harris, that's why I'm doing it again. If I thought I lost, I wouldn't be doing this again. You know where I'd be right now? On the beaches of Monte Carlo, maybe, or someplace.
Yes, Donald Trump. Donald Trump, in every single rally he has, talks about January 6th in the 2020 election. He talks about how it wasn't too bad. He likes to talk about how he won the election, even though we all know he did not win the election. And this has put his campaign in a rock and a hard place, because if you also have Liz Cheney currently campaigning for Kamala Harris, this is the perfect spot for her to be campaigning on.
When Donald Trump woke up on the morning of January 6th, 2021, his intention, despite having lost the election, was that he would remain president. Rather than accept his loss and concede defeat, he had spent months overseeing a multi-part plan to attempt to seize power and remain in office. He ignored the rulings of the courts. He corruptly pressured state legislatures, including here in Wisconsin, to overturn the results of their elections. He told the Justice Department to lie for him. He conspired to have fake electoral votes cast, and he corruptly pressured his vice president to take illegal and unconstitutional actions.
One, because she is pro-democracy. That is her entire reason for voting for Kamala Harris. If Donald Trump did not allow what happened on January 6th to happen and didn't deny the election, losing the election, Liz Cheney might have just voted for Donald Trump, because she did her entire term voted alongside Republican policies. So, given that, she probably could have swallowed him being a sore loser and voted for him. It was January 6th, which was like the cutoff point for her. But it seems like a lot of Republicans and Trump loyalists aren't ready for that conversation about just the position Trump put his own campaign and himself in.
Okay. The narrative is that Democrats are obsessed with January 6th. But the reality is that Donald Trump is the one who's obsessed with 2020. Even today, he was on stage in Michigan saying, I won, and I won by an even bigger margin than 2016. Maybe he should be quiet about it, but he can't stop himself, which puts it into the national discourse.
When it comes to the entire Liz Cheney situation and how she's a super weapon for Kamala Harris, especially with, I believe it's been 44 people so far already from his administration that's come out and said that they can't, with good conscience, vote for him. That is extremely tedious ground to be going on when you're trying to win back the voters you had prior, and even more so that you can win this election this upcoming time. And I mean, even voters are coming out and saying that seeing Liz Cheney and Kamala Harris together, side by side, campaigning together, that could be the last step they need to move over to the Harris ticket.
What do you think of Liz Cheney and Harris coming here together?
I think that's a good sign. So,
A sign of what?
well, it's a good sign that some Republicans are going to vote Democrat, even though they disagree with the policy, you know, because they just can't get on board with Trump.
Which, in a very tight election, margins are very slim. If Kamala Harris can get those last little bit of Republican voters that aren't sure about Donald Trump and just a little unsure about where she stands to fall on her side, this could be a slam dunk election for her. Not in that like it's going to be easy. The margins are still going to be close, but this could be what puts her over and sets her over. So I'm just saying, Donald Trump is going to wish, if Kamala Harris wins, that he never messed with Liz Cheney.
I tell you, I have never voted for a Democrat. But this year, I am proudly casting my vote for Vice President Kamala Harris. Thank you. But mostly we're not going back.
Because she is dynamite. She is a powerful speaker. Even I, at times, listening to Liz Cheney, forget that she was a conservative. She is conservative. That she has voted extremely conservative. Her record completely vanishes for me when she has such strong speeches about democracy. Like, I completely forget about it. So, like, if she can give that little bit of extra push to get Kamala Harris over the finish line, Donald Trump's going to wish he never messed with Liz Cheney and Dick Cheney at all. But y'all tell me what y'all think about this in the comments. I think Liz Cheney could be a game changer for this campaign. She's already proving to be a game changer for this campaign. Don't forget, if you like this content, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!